Good afternoon everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Elaine and I'm Melly Welly Stitcher, both here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. And hello, it's good to see you all again. It's been 7 weeks since I last filmed. I know, that's quite a long time, even for me that's quite a long time. I did tell you that I'd be back around about the beginning of December, but time just got away with me, and so it didn't happen. And then it got nearer and nearer to Christmas and it just became harder and harder, as we all know, because you know we're all busy at this time of year, aren't we? Anyway, never mind. You had loads to watch in December anyhow, because you know there was loads of brilliant Flossmases going on, and as well as people's normal update videos. And I have kept up with a bit of video watching, but I don't really do Flossmas. There's a couple of people I do watch. I do watch Michelle, Mama Loves You GB. I watch her Flosstube, and I do watch Crafty Emily. But apart from that, I know there's lots of other wonderful ones as well. Those two I've just always watched every year and thoroughly enjoyed them. And I'm sure there's loads of others, but I just haven't had time to watch them and keep up with people's normal WIP updates as well. And now, of course, the WIP parades are starting to happen. So I did sit and do some stitching yesterday afternoon and watched Debbie at Creatively Yours. She's just done her WIP parade, which I always watch every year, and it was really good. Thanks, Debbie. Thoroughly entertaining. So that's kind of where we are really. So belated happy Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and if you don't, I hope you've had the opportunity to have a bit of a rest over the festive period. And we are kind of in it still, aren't we? We're in that Christmas limbo time, or what else is it called, Twixmas, between now and obviously New Year. And I have a break from work at the moment, which is quite nice, and I thought it would mean that I had loads of stitching time, and no, because I've been too busy pottering around doing other things. Right, what have I got for you today? So I've got my normal WIP update, and I have, obviously it has been 7 weeks and I have stitched quite a lot in that time, so I have got quite a few WIPs to show you. I do have some finishes. I know we have ended the year on with a few finishes, and I have got I have had a couple of new starts. Well, one start and finish and one new start. And I have got some haul. I finished a book. So I've got a plan, and I have a little video to go with the plan as well that I want to talk about, which is going to be my New Year's Day start, and all the good things. So we might as well get into it. So if you haven't watched me before, hello and welcome. It's good to have you here, and I hope you like what you see and you decide to come back and visit with me again. For those of you that have stuck with me, thank you very much. Much appreciated. And so thank you very much for your support over the last year. It's greatly appreciated. And it's like coming back and chatting with old friends every time I film a video. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Right, shall we get into it then? So as always, let's start with my book a days. So here we are, nearly at the end of my 2025 book a days, and this is where we finished. So I last filmed a Flosstube on the 8th of November. So this is how we ended up for November. Seems like absolutely donks ago now since it was November. I stitched every day in November, I'm proud to say, so very happy with that. And then here we are so far with December. I haven't stitched every day in December. I didn't stitch on the 22nd because it was my wedding anniversary, and so I didn't go out anywhere for it, but I did do a bit of a candlelit dinner for my husband, and yeah, and we sat just chilling for the evening. So I didn't stitch then, and I didn't stitch on Christmas Day because I was hosting and I didn't have time. So, but I did sit and stitch yesterday, which was good. Bear is in here with me at the moment because he got a giggle ball for Christmas, and it's currently out in the garden, and every time he goes up to this giggle ball and plays with it, oh, you can probably see his ear, every time he goes up to the giggle ball and plays with it, he has to bark at it first. And obviously he's not the smallest dog, so when he barks, it's really loud. And like most Akitas, he doesn't bark very often. Excuse me, I'm just going to have to let him out because he can open doors now, and he's trying to open the door to my craft room, and in a minute there'll be lots of scrabbling around, and it's going to be really off-putting, both for me and probably for you as well. So bear with me 1 second. Right, I'm back. Okay, since I paused the video, I've gone and let Bear in, come back, tried to restart filming, mucked it up twice. So this is the third attempt, and in that time Bear has like created a fuss and wanted to come back in here. So he's now back in here again. So that whole episode was pointless, really. Never mind. Right, let's start again. So let's start with, I'm a bit windswept now because it's a bit windy outside. It's been lovely weather, that all over Christmas has been really lovely weather, bright blue skies, freezing cold but really bright blue skies, no rain. It's just been lovely, but yeah, it's a bit windy today as well. So finishes, let's start with my finishes. So this one is a stitch along that I've been doing all year long with my friend Stitchy Sally, and I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this one. This is the sheep calendar by Lotus Lake Stitching. I will put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished because I haven't stitched mine all together. So I've done them separately because I'm going to mount them separately. Well, I'll show you what I've done with that because now Howard started. Okay, right, this is one where the animals clearly want to get in on the act this time. There you go. For those of you that haven't heard Howard for a while, there he is in the background, wishing you all a Merry Christmas. Right, anyway, so I started and finished December since I last saw you. I've really enjoyed doing this stitch along with Sally. Sally finished hers a little while ago now, but I just stuck to stitching one a month, and that's worked out really well for me, and I've really enjoyed it. So these have all been stitched on 36 count vintage country mocha, using the called for DMC, and there's been like one set of DMC for each one of the little monthly stitches. So there's my December. I've really enjoyed that. I think my favourites have actually been stitching October, November, December, the burrs, as Stuart in Stitches would call them. So I showed you the first 6 earlier this year when I finished them, and here's the last 6. So here we have July, August, God, that seems like forever ago now, doesn't it? September, October, which I think was possibly my absolute favourite one. Of course it was October, a bit Halloween stitching. November, super cute, that one. And finally, December. So all done, really enjoyed it. managed to kind of keep up with doing them, and I've got a little calendar now that's complete to display for 2026, so very happy about that. So I have started finishing them, and I'm going to put mine on a little easel on my sideboard in the dining room, and I'm just gonna, and these are not the best bit of finishing you've ever seen. I don't know why, but I got a bit frustrated with these. They're not entirely straight, but I don't really care if I'm honest. So I've finished January. So that's what January looks like. I know it's wonky, never mind. It is what it is. And I've so far finished February as well. There's February. February's even more wonky, but you know, it is what it is. So they'll go on my little easel on my side table in the dining room. And I did glue gun these, and I don't normally do that, but they're only little, and you know, they're not exactly heirloom pieces, are they? They're just a bit of decoration. Right, that's those. Done those. Right. I then finished my second animal cracker. So here we have Clovis. I loved stitching Clovis. Really loved stitching Clovis. So she is stitched on the cord for, which is 36 count Shrekie's Tan by Needle Bling Designs. And I stitched her using all the cord for colours, which I think is predominantly Week Style Works. But yeah, I did super enjoy stitching her. Just a sec. Sorry, had to turn the muck about with the fire. I think the gas bottle's on the way out. Right. That is Clovis. Sorry, meant to say Clovis is designed by Stacey Nash, as I'm sure pretty much everybody knows. And like I say, she's one of the animal crackers. So I've now completed 2 of them. These are a stitch along that I'm doing with some of the ladies from the Cheshire Stitchers. So that includes my friend Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows, the lovely Lindsay, the Cheshire Stitcher, and I think there's a few other ladies that are doing these as well. And we're all, I think Lois is doing them as well. So yeah, so there's a few of us doing them, and we're kind of, you know, moving the patterns around. As we finish them, we send them on to somebody else that's stitching them. So I have kitted up another one to start, but I haven't started yet. So I've kitted up Maggie May, which I haven't got out to show you actually. I'll show you that when I do start it. Right, so that's that one. And then my third and final finish is this one. So, excuse me. This is the Salem Sisters Apothecary by Primrose Cottage Stitches. Here it is finished. Ta-da! Really pleased with this one. So this one I stitched on 36 count fabric from Coffee Craft Fabrics. It hasn't got a name. Megan doesn't name her fabrics. And I stitched this using a black silk. It was a Gloriana in the colourway Antique Black. And I put in some silver petite treasure braid. Mainly because I made a muck up with the wording 3 times and was not going to frog it again. So I stitched the whole cauldron in black in the end, and then excuse me. And then I put the silver over the top, and then I did some of the back stitch wording in a blend of black and silver as well, just to give it a little bit of sparkle, which you can't really see on the camera, but it has. It was quite a quick stitch, this one. I stitched this along with Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows for her birthday this year. This was her birthday start, and I know she's finished it as well because she showed it on her latest video. And I know there was a few other ladies that were stitching this along with Sally too. So yeah, really pleased with that one, and I do know how I'm going to finish it. but I've got to get some black paint, so when I finished it all will be revealed. So that was my 3 finishes. So really pleased to have some finishes before the end of the year. I have had quite a few this year, probably more than I've ever had actually. But a lot of them have been small. I had one really big one, which was my long dog sampler at the beginning of the year, and the rest of them have been pretty small, but never mind. Finishes are finished, and I've enjoyed mixing up my big projects with the small ones actually. It's been really good doing that. Right, let's do my whips next. So I have got quite a few of them to show you. It's almost like a mini whip parade, the amount I've got to show you actually. Right, I'm going to start with full coverage, and I have stitched on 2 full coverage projects this time. So the first one that I've stitched on since I last saw you is a Pain-Free Crafts project. This is Feast. So the artwork is by Chris Dunn and it's charted by Pain-Free Crafts. I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished. And if I have one, I'll put a picture in of where you saw it last time. Because I do think I have one actually. And here I am with it now. So since I last saw you, I've put in over 1,000 stitches on this one. I just couldn't leave it alone really for a while. I've worked over here predominantly. I've done a bit more down here, and then I've pretty much worked around this area here. So this is going to come in and be the rest of the squirrel. Then I think we've got another, his hand here, and then the hand of the next animal coming in there. So this is stitched on 28 count easy guide by Zweigart, and I'm stitching this one 1/1 full cross. I think I lied to you on my last video and told you it was 2/1 10 stitch, and then when I watched the video back, I thought, oops, it's not. It's 1/1 full cross, this one. And I'm glad that it is, because it is quite confetti heavy, this piece, and tent stitch is not brilliant when it comes to confetti. You get a much clearer definition with full cross. I don't know why I've suddenly got a cough. I have not got a cough. This is a Flosstube cough that's come upon me just literally while I'm doing Flosstube, as these things do, of course. So anyway, that's where we are with Feast. And then I'll put that back in there. The other full coverage project that I worked on, I haven't had this one out for quite a while actually. So this one is also charted by Pain-Free Crafts. So this is Blackberry Dragon, and it is artwork by Stanley Morrison. And here's where I am with it. Hopefully I'll put a picture in of what it looks like when it's finished. I'm not sure if I've got a picture of what it looked like last time actually. Not too dissimilar from this. I think I put in about 500 stitches. But what I've been working on is this part of the wing down here. So I thought I'd do a bit of green stitching. So that's what I've done. I did a bit of black, a bit of the scales, and then I did a bit of the green. I'm kind of avoiding going back and doing the face because I know there's lots of confetti in it, but never mind. There was a lot of confetti in that moon actually, but then all this background is really easy. So, but yeah, I went for this wing. This is also stitched on 28 count easy guide, which is kind of my go-to for full coverage. And this is stitched 2/1 10 stitch for definite. Okay, and both of those are stitched in DMC, by the way. Right, let's get into my smaller whips. I'll do this one first because it's kind of a bit in the way really. So I only had this project out I think one day and I appear to have a load of thread sticking out, which is not good, is it? Right, this is a bit cumbersome, this project. Okay, so I haven't stitched on this for quite a while actually, so I was quite pleased to have it out again. So this is my Afghan. This is Family Farm Afghan by Witchelt. That's what it will look like when it's finished. And I'm still on the boring bit, so I'm still only on the second square for this one. And I keep this permanently in a hoop because it's just such a difficult piece of fabric to wrestle in and out. So here I am with it. This is just the second square. There's the first square. Look, this is the second square. And I filled in all of this blue here. So this is stitched on 18 count Fireside by Witchelt, which is called for. And it is stitched over 2, so it becomes 9 count, which is lovely. It's really easy to stitch on, using 4 strands of DMC. So yeah, it eats thread, this project eats it, I tell you. But yeah, so that's where I am now. And actually when I do get it out, it's really good because I don't need a magnifier to see that. It's really easy to see. So, and sometimes it's nice to stitch a project with big holes just for a change. So that's where we are with my Family Farm Afghan. And I'm stitching that along with my friend Teresa. Teresa Little Stitcher. But Teresa's further ahead than me. I think she's done, has she done 4 squares now? She's definitely done more than me anyway. She is much further ahead than I am. Right. Sorry, I'm trying to stay organised. Oops, I'm not doing the best job of it. I'm trying to make myself a little ledge to put things on so I can stay a bit organised. Right. So I'll now pick a whip bag up, and now the whole lot of them have all fallen over. What's the point in trying to stay organised? Right, next one. So I stitched on this one in November as a nod to Black Sampler November. So this is quite an old whip of mine now actually, but I do like stitching it. This is by Our Forest Embroidery, and it is the Black Vintage Sampler. That is what it looks like when it's finished. Obviously without the great big crease through the middle. Sorry about that. It's quite well worn now, this chart. I've got it in Pattern Keeper, so this is just like the printed out copy of it, so I could show you what the whole thing looks like. Although lots of people have stitched this, has been a very popular chart, so I'm sure you have seen it previously. Here I did do quite a bit on this. I was quite pleased with my progress actually. Here I am with it. So I completely finished the house. I finished the man and his walking stick. I finished that bird flying away up the top there, and I finished the chimneys and the cat on top of the roof and the candelabra up above the man. It's really fun to stitch this because you don't know what's going to come next, and then I put in this border across the bottom here as well. So that's where I am with it. This is stitched on 32 count excuse me, silver grey by Zweigart, I don't very often stitch on 32 count anymore. So this is 32 count silver grey, and I am stitching this using Cottage Garden threads, ampersand, which is a lovely variegated black, and this is stitched using two strands of thread. So I do prefer to stitch with one strand, but I'd started this one with 2 strands, so, and it is on 32 count. Right, I do apologise for keep coughing all over the place. I don't know what that's all about. Right, next one. Now, I stitched on this for a couple of sessions. I hadn't stitched on this, I don't think, this year. Or I maybe once earlier in the year, I'm not entirely sure. When I do my WIP parade, I'll have a look. But this one I had not had out for quite a long while. So this is the Christmas Witch by Kathy Barrick. This is what it looks like when it's finished. It's a big chart. It looks smaller than it actually is. It is quite a big chart. So, oops, put that there a minute. Here's where I am with it. So since I last saw you, I've put in the cat's legs on the rug up there. This is stitched on a 35 count Harvest Blush, which is by Sparkleys, and I am stitching it using all the Cornfloor colours, which are a bit of a mix of overdyes and DMC. So that's where I am with that one. I do need to just finish the word rat over there, and that'll be the wording finished on that side. I think I did put in maybe another couple of rows of the colour on her dress as well. There's lots of block stitching on this, lots. But yeah, the cat's legs took me a little while actually to stitch. So that's where we are with the Christmas Witch. But with Christmas coming at the time, I thought it was appropriate to get that one out, so I did. Right, next one. Now the next one, I'm in a bit of a quandary about this one actually. I keep looking at it and thinking, do I ditch it or not? Right, this, which is in a lovely Christmassy bag from Pauline at Soapy Bags. I mean, look at that, gorgeous Teresa Kogut fabric. Now this one, I have stitched on this a couple of times since I last saw you. It hasn't been out probably for most of this year, I would say, and it's got issues, this one, and I'm not entirely sure what I want to do about it. So this is by Little House Needleworks, and it is Winter ABCs. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Now, I have completed previously the Spring ABCs, and I have it hanging on a bell pull, and that is what I want to do with this one. However, I made a couple of errors with this one. So the first one was I positioned the fabric wrong. Here I am with it now. This is where we are with it. So since I last saw you, it doesn't show up very well on camera, this one. I put in the words ice skates, and then I've come down here a bit, put in some more letters here. So here I am with it at the moment. Now, the issues with this. Love this piece of fabric that I've got it on, but, and this is a piece of fabric by Coffee Craft Fabrics. This is a 32 count, and I am stitching this using all the Cornfloor colours. However, look at this, people. I didn't stitch this in the centre of the fabric. I don't know why I didn't. I must have had a real senior moment, and I didn't do that, and so consequently it's not centered. Now, that's not entirely the end of the world, because I have had a thought that instead of finishing this entirely the same way as the other one, I could add some fabric to the side, some like wintry fabric. I do have some fabric in mind that I could use that's got like little snowflakes and things on it, so I could add some fabric to the sides and have that as a skinny strip down the middle, and then bell pull it anyway, because this fabric I had an issue with on the selvage over here. It came off and it started to really fray badly, which you know, I can stick my sewing machine on that and stick a bit of a zigzag on it, which is what's happened the other side. But I don't know if I really want to do it, whether I just abandon it because I don't want to stitch on it, and that's the reason why I don't want to stitch on it. So I don't like the fact that I haven't centered it. I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I don't like the fact that I've done that. So, and this is the 32 count 2 over 2, which I don't really, I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd done 1 over 2 on this. I don't know. What do you think? My friend Claire said to me, I think you're too far in, you've done too much, you can't really, it would be a shame to not finish it now. But I'm not happy with it. What would you do if it was you? Would you carry on? Or would you UFO it? Unfinished object, for anybody who doesn't know. Would you UFO it? Tell me in the comments what you would do, because I really need some advice. Or if you can think of a better way that I could maybe finish that. Although then I wouldn't have the set on bell pulls, and the idea is that I really wanted to put all of them once up, because I have got all the ABCs onto bell pulls. So I don't know what to do. Let me know what you think. Right, next, these are not in the order in which I've stitched them particularly, by the way. Right, I had a fun time stitching on this one, unlike the last one. So this is by Brenda Gervais, and this is Rejoice Evermore. This is what it looks like when it's finished. Really popular chart, this one, really popular. And since I last saw you, here I am with it. So since I last saw you, I've been working a bit more on the house in the middle. So I'll put in the door, and I'll put in like the bottom foundations of the house. Yeah, really pleased with this one and the way it's coming along. I will definitely finish this next year, definitely. So this is stitched on 36 count platinum by Swigart, and I'm stitching this using all the Corfield colours, which are a mixture of over dyes and DMC. But yeah, definite finish this one next year. And I am loving stitching that, and I've really enjoyed stitching it the whole way along. Really enjoyed it. So very pleased with that one. Right, next. Now, here's a WIP you haven't seen, I don't think, at all this year. But I just had a little hankering to stitch on it, so out it came. And I felt a bit sorry for it because it had been sadly neglected all year. Okay, so this is my Mirabilia. Now, I've only got 2 fancy ladies, and neither of them come out for a whirl very often because I really have to be in the mood to stitch on them. So this is Lady of Mystery by Mirabilia. Here's what she looks like when she's finished. And I spent a happy couple of afternoons stitching on this and thoroughly enjoyed it. So she's a big girl. Here I currently am with it. So I'm way down in her dress down here. I've done quite a bit more of her dress actually. So yeah, that's where we are with her. She is going to look good when she's finished, but she's miles off. I mean, not only have I still got stitching left to do, I mean, to be fair, I have nearly completed this big border around the side. But her skirt is massive. Oh, just give you one last look at that. Look how big that skirt is. So yeah, lot of very easy stitching there actually. There's a few blends in that, but which gives it that nice shiny effect. But yeah, I'd like to think she might be a finish next year, but I need to pull her out a bit more often. She's stitched on 28 count cream by Zweigart, and I'm stitching her using all the call for colours, which are predominantly DMC, but there's a couple of Karen water lilies in there as well. So there we are. There she is. Okay. Right, and she's one of my oldest WIPs. In fact, I think she's the second oldest WIP that I've got. So it really would be nice to get her finish. My oldest WIP is a full coverage, so there's no chance of that being finished anytime soon. Right. Okay, so that's her. I was pleased to have her out. She deserved a bit of love, did Our Lady of Mystery. Right, next. Now, I worked quite a bit on this one, and I do think this might be a finish very early on in 2026. So this is by Pineberry Lane, and it is Fancy Blacket, A Humble Abode. That's what it looks like when it's finished. And this is a stitch along that I do every year on the 1st of August with a group of friends. We've been doing it now for the last at least 3 years. And each year on the 1st of August we stitch on a Fancy Blacket. And everybody takes a turn to pick which one. So I stitch this along with Crafting Kirsty, who has a Flosstube, the Stitching WIP It on Instagram, Ali Stitcher on Instagram, Laurel from Instagram, and her friend Laura on Instagram, and my friend Flossie Sews and Grace. So I've really enjoyed stitching this with the ladies each year. I think I am the last one to finish, and I haven't finished yet. So this is stitched on 36 count Pioneer Trails by Mountain Air. And here I am with it now. So I've got a headless Fancy Blacket at the moment, but I am pleased that I have finished the bulk of the house. The house is done. And I've put like the little candlesticks in the windows. They're not quite fully finished those yet. And I've done quite a lot of this border bit. It still needs the middles in it, so to speak. But I have, and I've started on the flower pot here on the side. But I did stitch on that quite a lot last month. So yeah, hopefully not too far away from a finish with that one, I don't think. So yeah, if you look at it, I've just got, these are really easy, just the middles of these flowers to put in, the above the flower pot, the moon, and then the exciting bit for me, which is obviously Fancy's head, which is these crows like flying over the house, etc. Yeah, and the pumpkins, but they're all small bits. That house was the biggest bit of stitching. Right, that's that one. Okay, nearly there, guys. See, it has been a while, and consequently I have done quite a lot of stitching. Right, this one. Oh, I love stitching this one. Do you know what? I was watching Carol Saltbox Stitcher yesterday, and she showed her finish of this, and it really made me want to go and pull it back out again. So this is by Plum Street Samplers, and it is Winter Moon. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Honestly, if you didn't see it, go take a look at Carol's, because hers looked just brilliant. Loved it. I did spend a little time on this, actually, I'm pleased to say. Here, is that the right way? Yeah, it's the right way. Here I am with it now. So since I last saw you, I've put a bit more stitching into the roof. I started on the upstairs windows that are in the roof. You can't see it properly, but I've put all this top grouting in. I've just got to put the other window panes in there. It was actually quite a lot of stitching this, but I enjoyed it. I really like stitching this house, really like it. This is stitched on 36 count Picture This Plus Legacy linen, which Legacy is my favourite of Picture This Plus's linens. I love it. So yeah, that's where I am with that one. I can't wait to stitch on that again. And I am stitching this using all the Cool Fall colours, which are mostly, no, they're a bit of a good mix actually. We've got Classic Colourworks, of course DMC, and Weeks Dye Works. So yeah, but I like stitching it, and I really would like to stitch all the other houses in that series because I really like it. So that's that. That was a bad zip then, sorry. Right. And then, of course, I stitched on this one because it's definitely the right time of year for this. You will all have seen this chart lots of times, I'm sure, because loads and loads of people have stitched it, and I can't blame them because it's really fun to stitch. This is by the Cricket Collection. This is Winter. Great chart, this one. And here I am with it. So I've completed the W since I last saw you. I had a bit of stitching left to do on that, and I've gone back now over this side and started on the sleigh. So yeah, this is stitched on 32 count charcoal slate by Sparkleys, using all the called for DMC. So yeah, I'd really like to finish this before the winter ends, really. So I've got it for next winter, and then I've finished summer and I've finished autumn. I've just got spring left to do after this. So I will be quite sad to finish these because they've been really nice to stitch on, but I have got some other Cricket Collection charts that I've got in my collection, my stash, that I'd like to do. So that is where we are with winter. Okay, which doesn't want to go back in the bag properly, but hey ho. Right, I'll sort that out in a minute. Right, let's put that there. And then this one. Now, I've stitched all this a couple of times this week, so I've now got a Flosstube itchy nose as well, just to complete the whole thing. Right, I hadn't had this one out for quite a little while. This is by Scattered Seed Samplers, and this is Winter Stash. That's what it looks like when it's finished. Now, it looks small, this chart, and it isn't really. It's quite big. It's big for a small chart, if you see what I mean. So in size, not that big. Quantity of stitching, quite a lot. So let me show you where I am with it. Now, here I currently am with it. So I'm working on that second squirrel, and since I last saw you, I put all of that tail in, which now you might think, oh, that's not that much, Elaine. I'll tell you now that it is, because I'd got almost to the finish of that tail, And then I realised it was wrong, and it was so wrong that I had to frog it. Oh, I was so cross with myself. I completely miscounted, and I went to do, so you see these like little bits over here, I went to do them over this side and thought, I haven't got room to put them in. Why haven't I got room? And then when I looked at it, I missed out a great big chunk of the tail. And so I had to go and redo it. And to be honest, there is still a counting error in it, but it's not such a massive error, and I've left it and I've fudged it. So this is stitched on 36 count Milk and Honey by Fibre on a Whim, and I'm stitching this using the cord for DMC, and there are only 2 of them, which is nice. So that's where we are with that one. So yeah, it's the first time I've had the frog come to visit for a big visit for like quite a long time, and I was like, oh god, and there's no way I can leave that. And I'd literally spent, you know, a good couple of hours in the evening stitching it, looked at it, and I thought, I've got to frog it now, because if I don't frog it now, it's going to go back in the project bag and I'm not going to want to pick it up again. So I frogged it, and then yesterday late afternoon, we'd been out, and when I got home I picked it up again and thought, I'm going to put that tail back in now while I'm in the mood to do it, basically. So I did. And my final project is a new start, you know, because I have had a couple of finishes. So this one I saw on a Flosstubers channel, and she was a new Flosstuber to me. I will have to double check her name. I think it's Rose Cottage Creates, I think. Anyway, I watched her channel and I really liked her project. So she's really new to cross stitch, but she stitches a few things that I like. She's been doing some animal crackers, and she'd done this chart, and I looked at it and thought, oh god, I need to stitch that. And then she does quite a lot of embroidery as well. She does a lot of embroidery kits from the Stitchery, which are beautiful, and I'm really tempted to have a go at trying one myself, but still. Right, for this one I've got this on PDF, so I will put a picture in here of what it looks like when it's finished, but I just fell in love with it, and I had to. This was not on my radar as a new start at all, but it just immediately became one. So I started this on Christmas Eve. I didn't have a lot of time on Christmas Eve, so it didn't get an awful big start, but I did start on it. So this is by the Witchy Stitcher, and it's called The Graveyard Wander, and I just love it. I just love it. So here I am with it. So not much has been done. This is like a bit of a tree down the side, but yeah, I saw her finish of it and I thought, oh god, I need to stitch that really badly. So this is, I'm stitching this on 36 count silver grey by Zweigart, using all the call for DMC. So yeah, I just, and it's still in the hoop because I want to go back and stitch on it a bit more, but I loved it, just loved it. So that is all my whips and my new start. Okay, so I'm gonna do plans next, because I only really have one at the moment, because I know a lot of you don't like haul, and I want to explain a bit about this new start. So I am having a new start on New Year's Day with the lovely Michelle from Mama Loves You GB. So I have showed this chart before as haul, and then Michelle contacted me and we were talking a bit about Anglesey samplers, and she said, I've got that chart, I started with you. Thought, lovely, like to do it. So we're doing a start along rather than a stitch along, because Michelle, like me, is not the greatest at keeping up with stitch alongs. So this is a chart that was a limited edition from the Scarlett House, and it was exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks. Actually, was it a limit? I'm not sure if it was a limited edition or just an exclusive to Hobby House. Anyway, this is Eleanor Roberts, and as soon as I saw it, and I can't remember where I saw it now, I think it may have been on Scarlett House's, on Tanya's Instagram, and I knew that I had to have it. So this is Eleanor Roberts. This is her sampler. It is quite big. It is, yeah, pretty big. 352 wide by 233 high. So big. Now this sampler, there's a couple of things about this. So this here is Salem Chapel in Amloch. Now Amloch, I live on the Isle of Anglesey, for anybody who doesn't know. Amloch is on Anglesey. Amloch is a port at the top of Anglesey. It's only a little, like, fishing port. Well, it is now. I mean, back in the day, it used to be a little bit more industrial than that, in that there is a big copper mountain right near Amloch. And Amloch used to be kind of the port where they used to take the copper to, and there's also a big port, what was once a porcelain works, which overlooks the sea, and is it one of these days I'll take some pictures from it to show you. It's really beautiful, as is Copper Mountain, which you can walk up now, and it's really stunning. Anyway, Amloch is quite a small town. Now I do go there from time to time because there's a really nice community craft shop in Amloch. So I'd only ever been in one before, and that was one time when I was down in Cardigan, which is Michelle's neck of the woods, and there was a community craft shop there where, you know, basically people rent a shelf, like local craftspeople and artists, etc. They rent a shelf and then they can sell their homemade wares from that shelf. Well, there's one of those in Amloch, and it's really good, and I've bought quite a lot of Christmas presents from there this year. So I do go to Amloch from time to time, and almost always I drive past this chapel. Anyway, when I went in November on a Christmas shopping trip, with my friend, I stopped and videoed this chapel from outside, just because I wanted to show you the chapel. Since this was stitched, the chapel was changed, but you can still see the original parts of the chapel, and I've done a little video to show you. The chapel was basically extended and added on to in, I think, 1909, and also in 1851. So this would be prior to 1851. The other thing I really like about this chart is all these birds. Not like, there's a very fancy peacock on there, but there's lots and lots of blackbirds. And I think Tanya had put that she believed they were crows, but I like to think they might be starlings. And the reason I think they might be starlings is because as an island we get lots of starlings, lots and lots and lots, to the point where we get huge murmurations of starlings at the end of the summer. They just look amazing. And so I did wonder whether, rather than being crows, whether they might be starlings. Well, I like to think they might be. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm quite enthusiastic about starting this. I really, really am. So this is going to be my New Year's Day start. I haven't quite decided on the fabric yet. I've bought some platinum to put it on, but I have got some American chestnut by R&R, and I might put it on that actually. I was going to stitch it in the MPIs, but I've changed my mind. I'm just going to do it in DMC, because I hadn't got many of the MPIs. I had got a few, but not many, whereas I've got all of the DMCs. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that with Michelle on New Year's Day. So, and like I say, I'll put a video at the end if you are interested just in what Salem Chapel looks like now. So that is my new start. Okay, right, for those of you that don't like haul and book reviews and things, I will hopefully either see you on my WIP parade, which I'm going to film on New Year's Eve. So I'll either see you for that one, or I'll see you for my next update in January, hopefully. For those of you that are interested in haul, stick around. Here we go. Bear's been very quiet now, isn't he? He's sitting curled up on the floor, looking out the door, because the door's got a little window in it and he can see out. So right, I've got couple of charts, not terribly many, but a couple. Quite a lot of fabric, more than I expected to have actually. And yeah, so let's go with it. Right, so first chart. So I bought this chart on eBay. Someone was selling it for it was really cheap, to be fair. So this is by Brenda Gervais and it is called At Home. There we go, there's the chart. This was from 2022. Again, great house, isn't it? Look at that house. I liked the house and I really liked the deer in this one. So yeah, really want to stitch that. And I also picked up in the same from the same person that was selling this one, which is also from Brenda Gervais, and this is lesson 2 in the summer schoolhouse designs. So I have seen all of these, but I could only pick up this one, but hopefully the other ones will come up at some point. But I did really like this, and again it was such a reasonable price, so I bought that. I'm not normally very lucky with picking up de-stash things and stuff off of eBay cross stitch, so I was really pleased to get those. Right, and then I bought a couple of charts from Peakside Needleworks. So Sue got some Brenda Gervais charts in and I was straight on that, believe me. So this is Sweater Weather. Look, how cute is he? So this really cute snowman. And then the other one that I picked up, also Brenda Gervais, there's a bit of a theme going on here, is this one. This is the Winter Trio. And I've already got all of the other ones. So I've got autumn and I've got spring and summer as well. And at some point I would really, really like to stitch all of these. So yeah, I've got those for my smalls collection. Or you can do them as a whole long band like she has here, but I would definitely stick to doing them as little pillows. Right, and then because of course I haven't got enough fabric in my life, I purchased some fabric. So I bought some fabric from Sue at Peakside. So this is by Picture This Plus, and this is 36 count ancient, and I've not had any ancient before, so I was quite keen to give that a bash, so I bought a small piece of that. So I think that's quite nice and grungy looking for something. Not sure what, but you know. And then another piece I picked up from Sue was this one, and I got this because I bought some threads. So these are for my next animal cracker. These are for Maggie May. In fact, I forgot I'd got them in there. And again, I purchased a piece of fabric as well. This one is, again, a smaller piece of 36 count winter brew by R&R. So I bought that. That's a nice, really nice neutral. There's a theme here. I do like neutrals, by the way. They are my go-to. And then I got my fabric of the month from West Green Loft Yarns, and it's a really gorgeous pinky colour. I'm not going to take it out because I think it'll be too much crinkling going on. It's called Winter Rose. I get a 36 count fat quarter. Look at that gorgeous pinky colour. Gorgeous. Love that. But it's not so pink that it wouldn't be classed as neutral, so I really like that. And I am going to stay in her club for next year because I've liked every single piece of fabric I've had from her this year. And then we have a new fabric, bi-monthly fabric of the month club, so which is from Swan Bay Fabrics, Marie, who is Stitches and Diamonds on Flosstube. So this was my first piece of fabric from her. Now, I've bought fabric from Marie previously, and I really loved it, so I was very happy to get this piece of fabric, and it's glorious. Look at that. Glorious. I don't think it's got a name, this one. I think this is just the December 25. This is a 36 count because that's my go-to. And it is, of course, a fat quarter. But so yeah, Marie's doing her fabric club bi-monthly. So the next one, I'm guessing, will be in February. But yeah, really, really pleased with my fabric from Marie. And finally, my final bit of haul, so I haven't done too bad for haul, it has been 7 weeks, is of course my 2026 book a days. So this, for anybody who's interested and hasn't purchased one before, is by Needlework Press, and yeah, it's my go-to planner. It is, because I'm not the best at using a diary. I am not great at using a spreadsheet, and I think it's not because I can't use a spreadsheet. I think it's because I spend all day at work using spreadsheets. I don't particularly want to do it when I come home, so I prefer to use this because, you know, it's really simple just to jot down the name of what you've stitched on once. It's no effort to do that for me, and so I've been doing it now for, I think that's the 4th one that I've had, so this will be the 5th one. But yeah, and I do like looking back at them as well, and I like stickering them up, and yeah, it's really, really good. I really like them, and they always put a lovely design on the front. So yeah, that's my book a days for next year, for 2026. And that, guys, is all of my stitchy stuff. What else have I got to tell you? So books. So I've still been persevering with Alchemized, which I'll put in the show notes below who it's by, because I just can't remember off the top of my head. It's a massive book, it's huge. I'm reading it on Audible, and I don't very often read an Audible book, so it's really slow going, and I'm not don't even think I'll finish it next year. It's like 37 hours worth, I think, of reading, but it started off a bit slow and it's gradually got better, so I am quite enjoying it. I have just finished the next book in the Throne of Glass series. So I've just finished Tower of Dawn, which was absolutely 5-star. I really loved it. Really loved it. These are the books by Sarah J. Maas. And I'm going to be so sad when it's finished. I'm now reading Kingdom of Ash, which is the last book in the Throne of Glass series. I've read the other series. I've read the Court of Thorn and Roses series, and I've read the Crescent City series. So I'm going to be very upset with when this one finishes, seriously. So yeah, so that's where I am with reading. I've got a whole queue of books to read. I read a lot on my Kindle, that's where my main book is, but I have got a whole load of physical books to read as well, so I need to kind of finish this one by Sarah J. Maas and then get started on some of those, hopefully. But I have been a bit like glued to the TV as well, so we had Celebrity Traitors in the UK, and absolutely loved it. Really loved it. I've liked all the Traitors series anyway, and then the new series starts on the 1st of January, so looking forward to watching that. So yeah, there's been a bit of telly viewing going on recently, and I'm not always a big one for watching TV, but there just has been a couple of shows on that I've really wanted to watch or enjoyed watching, and of course the new series of Stranger Things has been on as well, and I absolutely love it. And I binged watched all that. They released 3 new ones yesterday, and I binged watched all of those last night with my husband, and then now I've got to wait for the final part on New Year's Day. So yeah, anyway, that's, and like I say, as well as that, I have caught up with a few Flosstubes. So I've watched Stitchy Sally, I've watched Flossie Sews and Grows, I've watched Mama Loves You GB's Flosstube, Flossmas, I've watched Crafty Emily's Flossmas, I've watched some of Lindsay the Cheshire Stitcher's Flossmas. Who else have I been watching? I stumbled across that Rose Cottage Creates, I think via, can't remember, it may have been because of Sarah at Penelope's Pocket, actually. I think she mentioned her, and so I went across and had a look. So I've watched Sarah as well at Penelope's Pocket, watched Carol Saltbox, watched Brenda and the Cereal Starter, and then Debbie from Creatively Yours was the first WIP parade I've watched for NDU WIP parades. So yeah, and I'm sure I will definitely be watching more of those because I absolutely love a WIP parade. So, and then I will film my WIP parade on New Year's Eve, which I've done every year so far. Really looking forward to filming that for you. So I may have been missing for 7 weeks, but you're going to get 2 on the bounce pretty much from me. Anyway, it remains for me to say, if you're still having a Christmas break at the moment, I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're getting some stitching in, as well as spending time with friends and family. And I would like to wish you all a happy new year, because I know not everybody will watch my WIP parade. So those of you that have really stuck with me over the last year, thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope you'll stick with me next year as well. So happy new year to all of you guys. Let's hope next year's a fabulous one, and we get lots of stitching in, and we're all healthy and happy. So yeah, thank you very much guys for sticking with me. I just, yeah, thank you. I so appreciate it. Anyway, I'm going to go now because I'm waffling. So happy stitching to you all. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next year. Bye now. Hi everybody. Here we are in Amloch on the Isle of Anglesey. I showed you a little while ago a sampler by Eleanor Roberts, which was a limited edition, which was charted by the Scarlet House and was sold by Hobby House Needleworks. I don't know if they've got any left, possibly, but I did say to you that the reason I purchased the sampler was because quite often I've driven past the chapel which was stitched for the sampler by Eleanor Roberts. So this is the chapel. It's a little bit different from when it was stitched by Eleanor Roberts, because the chapel was built in 1827, but it was actually extended and made bigger in 1861. And there actually is an addition to the side of the building which was added on in 1904. There was houses in the sampler, there were houses on both sides of the chapel, and although there are still some houses on this side, on the right hand side of the chapel here, or your left, I don't think they're the original houses. So all that's left now is this big building here, and I think the top archway was not part of the original structure, but everything else underneath was. So I did promise you that I would show you on this lovely sunny day, it's a bit chilly but it's not too bad, in Amloch, exactly where Eleanor Roberts' chapel that she stitched actually is. Thanks guys.